Today let's look at a classic triangle problem. The SAT really likes this concept. It pops up once in a while in the ACT as well, so it's a good thing to know. They simply give you a triangle. One side is 5, one side is 12. They label the third side C. And the question reads, if C is an integer, what's the greatest possible value for C? So why don't you pause the video, think about it, see if you could solve it, and we'll come back and we'll get this one done. Okay, so here we go. We have a 5, a 12, and a C. We somehow have to figure out what the C could possibly be, the biggest it could be. So, as always, goes without saying, we want to read the question, try to take out what we can from the question. I think the first thing that pops up is this word here, the word integer. It's a word I think that most kids are familiar with. However, some of them may be not exactly sure what it means. It just means it's a whole number, essentially. 1, 2, 3, 4, no decimal, no remainder. So we know that C has to be a clean number. And we want the greatest possible value for C. So, this would be considered a difficult question. Let's first figure out what kids would probably do wrong here. And I think a large majority of kids would say, well, I have a triangle, I guess I'll just do the Pythagorean theorem. And if you did that, 5, 12, you would end up with 13. That answer most definitely would be there. Lots of kids would circle it. However, that's going to be wrong. The reason it's wrong is we have no evidence that that's a right angle. Certainly it could be 90. It doesn't look like it, but because the pictures typically are not drawn to scale, this could even be bigger than 90. So we can't assume that. There is something out there called the triangle inequality theorem, and it states the following. If you have two sides of a triangle, you can obtain the range, in other words, all the possible lengths of that third side. Simply take the two sides, subtract them, and always do the big and then the little. So 12 minus 5 is going to give us 7. Add them together, 5 and 12, is 17. And the rule states that the third side must fall somewhere in between. Can't be 7, cannot be 17, it can be anywhere in between. If we're talking about an integer, obviously the biggest integer less than 17 would be 16.